In 2014, Kevin Harvick capitalized on the most important career decision of his life, winning the Cup championship after switching teams from Richard Childress Racing to Stewart-Haas Racing. With this, the field feared as it seemed like Harvick and his number 4 team had not yet peaked. 2015 would begin by proving this right, as Harvick locked himself into the 16-man playoffs after starting the season with 2 second-place finishes.
47 and the 78. They are on their game right now.
White flag. No pressure yet.
White flag for Kevin Harvick. He's led 141 laps. That's triple what any other driver has led today. Came in here a 4.5 to 1 shot. Short odds, but a pretty dominating performance. Win number 29 at the checkered flag, Kevin Harvick for Stewart-Haas Racing.
That wasn't a comfortable last run there.
Logano all over one another, battling for points and positions with 1 lap to go, and Kevin Harvick out in front of Jamie McMurray by 1.2 seconds.
Just a minute.
And here's great news for Kevin Harvick, and here's even better news for Kevin Harvick. When we come back here in the fall, this could be the race that gets him back in the chase again.
Harvick is the opener and the closer, winning at Phoenix from the pole.
Over the span of races, from the second race of the season at Atlanta through the 15th race of the season at Michigan, Harvick went on an absolute tear, doing all but closing the deal on races. He led each of these 14 races at least once. In 14 races, he led for 1,225 laps. That equates to an average of leading 87.5 laps per race for those 14 races. This run was establishing that Harvick was the clear-cut favorite for the 2015 title. While Harvick relatively cooled off during the summer, he ran insanely well still, holding plenty of momentum heading into the 10-race final stretch. On top of his 2 wins in the season, he knocked off 10 second-place finishes. But with NASCAR's playoff format, the field would reset, putting Harvick in 5th due to the ordering of wins, which he did not have as many as others. This reseating of the grid didn't seem to faze him, though, as the 4 rolled off from the pole at Chicagoland, and it seemed to be business as usual until disaster struck.
Johnson gets a big wiggle off turn 2, and the 41 of Kurt Busch comes by.
Yeah, he got really tight. Oh, there it is.
Around goes the 4.
Hold the brake, hold the brake. Stay up there. Stay
A lot of damage to the back of that car.
And this is what we talked about. This is what we said at the top of the show. The pressure of these decisions.
Real slow here. Real slow.
The wreck and the 42nd place finish that followed put him behind the 8 ball early, being 22 points behind 12th place driver Jeff Gordon. The next week at Loudon, Harvick was far and away the best in the field, but once again, fate had a different plan for the 4 team.
Down the backstretch, and he's out of gas. You just heard him. We ran out of gas. Not enough fuel saved. Kevin Harvick's going to come to pit road. Matt Kenseth out in front of the field now. Big points implications for the 4 team. They needed a great finish. They're on pit road and they're losing spots, and as you mentioned, points as every car goes by them.
Because of this major lapse in strategic judgment, his 216 laps led went down the drain. He remained 15th in points, now 23 back from the cutoff driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. This left him in a nearly must-win situation for the race at Dover. As is his nickname, Kevin Harvick would be the closer, though.
This could end up being Harvick's 3rd must-win in the last 5 chase races, if he's able to accomplish it. White flag is out. One more time around for Kevin Harvick. The tiebreaker between the 88 and the 1 is finish position. They're tied right now for 12. Down the backstretch, Kevin Harvick just has to get through 3 and 4 if he wants to advance to round number 2. Kevin Harvick is going to win at Dover.
He would take the field behind the woodshed, leading the race for 355 of the 400 laps. With this, the 12 remaining drivers were reset basically to zero again. Another second-place finish at Charlotte put him second in the points, 13 ahead of cutoff driver Ryan Newman. Once again, at Kansas, Harvick was putting up a strong top 5 run again, through the opening two-thirds of the race, that is. But with less than 60 to go, a critical mistake was made in the pits.
Stall.
We just talked about this before the stops. Solid stops. Mistakes will kill you. And right here, they said they were close on fuel. The gas man tries to get every last drop in. He loses control of the gas can. It goes out of the pit box. That'll be a penalty for the 4-car. A very costly penalty.
That will mean he will have to come back onto pit road.
Go here.
Just heard have to do a stop and go.
One thing I love about Kevin Harvick, though, you didn't hear, he just responded. You know, what do we got to do? He's going to come on pit road. This guy has the fight and to try to do it. Right here, he's going to get all he can in pit road. A very tough entrance, good transition to a flat, but this is going to cost this team at least a lap on the racetrack.
78 of Martin Truex Jr. also with an issue on pit road. An uncontrolled tire for Martin Truex Jr. He has to come back to pit road.
When he served the penalty, the shifter on his car broke. The problems relegated him to a 16th place finish, putting him only 7 points ahead of the new 9th place driver, Kyle Busch, heading into Talladega. Once again, the Ford team would be needing to both finish high in the pack as well as walk on eggshells. Once again, Harvick was running where he needed to. And once again, the gremlins snuck in. Harvick was shown to be slow under caution, barely being able to run fast enough to drive on the local interstate. So, for the final restart of the race, Harvick pulled to the outside to avoid being run over. And insanely, the race would be prolonged due to a caution or a continuation of a caution. Once again, Harvick would line up on the outside line. This is where one of the biggest controversies in NASCAR history would occur.
Green flag back in the air. The 4 not going. They wreck behind him. The green flag is out as they cross the start-finish line. Will they throw the caution? Trying to get back up to speed. Caution comes out.
Again, the gap with the 15, he can't keep up. He's starting to keep up a little bit. 15 goes, he can't go. Trevor Bayne turns right, and this is the part that we heard the two drivers talk about. They believe he did that on purpose, trying to turn into the 6 car and cause a caution.
NASCAR world would be torn, as some called it a legitimate accident, while others claimed to be a purposeful crashing of the field to save Harvick's season. The wreck sent ripples through the chase field. Had Harvick fell back, he would have no doubt been out of the chase grid. Had it not happened sooner, or hadn't happened at all, Dale Earnhardt Jr. might have been in the next round, eliminating Kyle Busch. And Busch could have been eliminated either way. But with this 15th place finish and with all of it occurring, Harvick advanced on again to the round of 8. At Martinsville, Harvick merely survived, putting him in an 8th place finish and the 4th and last guy in the advancing position with 2 races to go in the round. At Texas, he finished 3rd, and it jumped him up another spot to 3rd in the standings, 10 points ahead of Carl Edwards going into his best track, Phoenix. It was the first time that Harvick had felt like a lock for the next round. Heading to the green flag pit stops late in the race, he had dominated, leading 143 laps. Due to a rule technicality, though, Harvick would be second behind eliminated driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. when the caution came out. And the caution continued on until the rain struck. This would be where the race would wind up, and under caution. But even with the disappointment of the second place run, Harvick made the Final Four again, looking to defend his championship against rivals like Jeff Gordon, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch. The race would really end up being a battle between Busch and Harvick. The 4 led the field through the middle part of the race, but Busch ended up having the far superior car of the two. In the end, the Green 18 would scamper away with the title. The season would end the way it started for Harvick, with 2 straight second-place runs. Heading into 2020, the 2015 season still marks career highs for Harvick in 23 top 5s, 2,294 laps led on the season, and an 8.7 average finish on the season. And it makes many wonder, what if Kyle Busch had been eliminated at Talladega? What if the Ford team had learned to close the deal more on his 12 second-place finishes in 2015 and they would have done that for Miami. What if, in 2015, Kevin Harvick captured his missing ring?